Hello, and welcome to the staged readings of the winning entries in the 2013-14 Stony Brook University Science Playwriting Competition. My name is Chris Herzog. I'm an associate professor in the Yang Institute for Theoretical Physics here on campus. I'm also one of the producers of this event, and I'd like to begin with a lot of thank yous. I could not have made what you're about to see possible without enormous help from Steve Marsh, who's back up in the back in the Theater Arts Department, and also from Maria Froelich here at the Simon Center, who's also in the audience. Many thanks also go to Josh Klein, Jason May, Tim Young, Elise Winters, and John Morgan, the Simon Center. Also to Betty Gasparino, Helen Carano, and George Sturman at the Yang Institute. Last but not least, I'd like to acknowledge financial backing from both the Yang Institute for Theoretical Physics and also from the Simon Center. There are a couple reasons we decided to organize this event. The first is to get more people interested and excited about science. Authors who might never have thought to write a play about physics and math, actors who do not ordinarily get a chance to perform in plays about science, and also you, the audience. If there are those among you who would never voluntarily go to a physics lecture, but are nevertheless intrigued by plays about Nikola Tesla, about space travel, about biology. The second reason is to give scientists the opportunity to reach a wider audience. I wanted to find scientists with a talent for creative writing, and we found a few. I wanted to find scientists with a talent for acting, and we found a few. I want the scientists in the audience to see some new ways of making important yet difficult scientific ideas accessible to a wider audience. My favorite part of this event is that I get a chance to step outside my ivory tower for a few days and interact with a wide spectrum of incredibly interesting and talented people, writers, actors, and especially you, the audience. This event is not only about teaching science, but also about teaching scientists like me how to become better teachers. You, the audience, are about to hear a reading, not a full-scale production. There are no props, no set. Readings are an opportunity to hear plays in public with a minimum amount of fuss and bother. We have 4 short plays tonight. First, our third place winner, The Future Tells the Truth by David Vazdauskas. Next, Searching for David by our second prize winner, Bruce Futcher. And last, Understanding. There's Bruce sitting in the third row. And last, Understanding by Colin West, our first prize winner. In between these 3 short plays, we will hear Good Advice, our honorable mention by Matt von Hippel, who got his PhD today in physics. Before we begin, I have a couple of short announcements. First, please turn off or silence your cell phones. And next, the roles of Henry in The Future Tells the Truth and Student 4 in Good Advice will be played tonight by yours truly. So sit back, relax, watch, listen, and let the actors do the reading.
Edison's best-known invention is, of course, the gramophone, but his discovery of the electric light bulb literally revolutionized the illumination of the world. Early this year, on the occasion of his 84th birthday, the press and Movietone gathered to congratulate him. This is what he had to say about modern developments.
What do you think of the Einstein theory?
I don't think anything of Einstein theory because I can't understand it.
The Future Tells the Truth by David Vazdauskas. Scene 1, a small laboratory in New York City, 1884. Thomas Edison is sitting at a simple table, fiddling with a mishmash of wires and metal parts and talking softly to himself.
Maybe if I try it this way. That won't work.
Tesla enters, standing on the far side of the stage. Edison keeps working, oblivious to Tesla.
Excuse me, Mr. Edison?
Who are? How did you get...
When there was no answer a while ago, I found this wire and
You picked my lock?
it was so simple, you see. You might want to consider a more sophisticated lock.
Listen, young man, if you're here to sell me something, I will kindly ask... I should be happy to recommend to you my friend and colleague, Nikola Tesla.
That is me.
I know two great men, and you, Mr. Edison, are one of them. Oh, you came here to tell me something I already know?
I think there is more.
And the other is this young man. You?
I myself would be more modest, but since it is a letter of introduction, well, perhaps.
Well, there's nothing wrong with blowing your own horn, young man.
I prefer to let my work speak for itself,
Ah.
Mr. Edison.
Then you'll be waiting a long time for anyone to pay attention. The sooner you learn that, the better off you'll be. Now, tell me why you're here.
I can build.
He steps forward and looks down at Edison's table. He begins to fiddle with the wire and metal.
Right now, if you'd like.
Tesla sits at the desk and begins working.
Well, I see what you're doing. Very clever.
I've been developing electric current generation motors in Strasbourg, and most recently in Germany. I've met with some success with an alternating current, where electrons switch directions, sometimes going forward and sometimes going backward.
So you have some theories, do you? Well, I have no use for others' theories. I'm doing quite well with my own. What I need is someone to help me build my theories and to test them.
So you'll hire me.
Well, it depends on what you expect for a wage.
Well, I only have 3 cents in my pocket. I had 4, but I gave one away.
You gave away a quarter of your fortune?
So I'd have 3.
Why 3?
3. It's the first prime number. The only prime whose factorial is a perfect number. 3 is the only positive integer n in which the difference between the least prime greater than n and the greatest prime less than n. Those are only 3 reasons.
You seem a bit of an odd man, Mr. Tesla.
But I can help you, Mr. Edison.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you can develop a solution that would increase the efficiency of my direct current electrical generators, you've heard of my direct current generators, haven't you, Tesla?
Yes, of course. But
Yeah.
the direct current, it loses energy as it travels over a distance. As I said, I've recently developed an alternating current. Actually, I'd be quite happy to solve your direct current efficiency problem.
If you can develop a better solution to redesigning and improving my direct current generator, why, I'll pay you $50,000.
$50,000.
That's how difficult I think the challenge is. But in the meantime, I'll pay you $18 a week.
Perhaps you would consider $20 per week?
But $20 is not divisible evenly by 3.
Agreed, $18.
You can start now. There's a room down the hall. You can sleep there.
I don't need much sleep.
And I need even less. I'll return at 5 in the morning.
The lights fade to black. After a moment, the lights are back on, and Tesla is at the table. Leaning back, Edison enters.
What? You're resting? Do you think I'm paying you
I'm finished, actually.
Finished?
The assignment, the direct current generator, to make it more efficient. I've improved this performance by 333%.
333%.
I could have made it 334%, but...
Well, this thing about 3s. Here, let me see this. Yes, I see. Yes. Well, this is quite good.
Of course, it would be even more efficient if we were to utilize an alternating instead of direct.
You actually did it. Found a brilliant solution, but first we must test it.
There's no need, Mr. Edison. I played it out all in my head. It will work. Then, I won your challenge, so you will pay me $50,000.
What? My dear boy, my poor dear boy, the thing about $50,000, it was a joke, a little American humor.
American humor?
Young man, when you become a full-fledged American, you will appreciate a good American joke.
So you're not going to pay me the money?
Well, how about I give you a raise to $28 a week? But of course, 28 is not divided evenly by 3, so I suppose we'll have to be 24.
Tesla reaches to the table, picks up his notes, and tears them into pieces.
So if you're not going to make good on your promise of $50,000, I quit.
I have a very good memory, my boy. Photographic.
Then picture yourself a fool.
Blackout. Scene 2, 2 years later, a spare row house room in the Lower East Side of New York. At Lights Up, Nikola Tesla is sitting at a simple chair wearing a ragged shirt. An old pair of boots is next to the chair. He is leaning back in the chair asleep.
Who is it?
Mr. Tesla, you've been asleep all this time.
I worked a double shift yesterday, Mary. Apparently there's a big demand for ditch diggers and a short supply.
Then you must have missed them. 3 dressed-up gentlemen came by maybe 2 hours ago saying they wanted to meet you. Quite unusual to want to meet a ditch digger.
3 men, you say? Tell me, what did they want with me?
I thought they were practical jokers. They said you were a genius inventor, that you were smarter than Thomas Alva Edison. To tell you the truth, I always thought you were a bit, you know, crazy.
One must be sane to think clearly, Mary, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. Did these men say where they were from?
One was from, it was a Mr. A.K. Browning from the Western Union Telegraph Company. He started babbling on about currents. Yes, that was it. They said they wanted to fund your alternator.
The alternating current. Oh my God, this is my chance.
Your chance for what?
To finally prove Mr. Edison wrong. It's a miracle they found me.
Well, if I was a genius inventor, I don't think I would have been so quiet about it.
My work should be able to speak for itself, Mary.
And how's that working for you?
Blackout. Scene 3, 1893. A softly lit empty room at the top of Chicago's tallest building. At Lights Up, George Westinghouse is standing next to Thomas Edison. Both men are facing the audience, gazing straight ahead, looking through a window. Suddenly, a bright light flashes, illuminating the 2 men.
My God, will you look at that? An awe-inspiring spectacle of man-made lighting from Tesla's alternating current motor.
It's just a fireworks show, Mr. Westinghouse. Just a spectacle.
Now, not that you shy away from spectacles yourself, Mr. Edison. Imagine all that energy generated from an alternating current.
Well, we'll see in a few seconds how Tesla does when he actually applies his current to a real bulb.
A glow of light reflects on the men's faces.
My goodness! The entire Columbia exhibition arena is lit up with bulbs powered by alternating current, with Tesla himself serving as the conductor. That proves once and for all that alternating current is effective and quite safe, despite your attempts to prove otherwise. Mr. Edison, electrocuting an elephant with AC? Shame on you, sir. Now, I believe your direct current demonstration is scheduled next.
Indeed it is, George. Indeed it is.
Why, I think I see something. Your incandescent bulb has become illuminated.
Powered by my direct current. See how strong the light is from the bulb. The full energy has transferred to the...
The light in the room suddenly goes out.
I don't understand. The lights...
All the lights in the exhibition arena have dimmed, except for your poor little energy-laden bulb. Tesla, on the other hand, lit up the whole place with his alternating current. It looks like I've bet on the right horse. Tesla's current can travel over a distance. Yours loses energy. Case closed.
It's impossible. I did a series of...
Seeing is believing, Mr. Edison. Your hyperbole can't obscure the truth. Now, can you have someone turn off that bulb of yours so we can have Tesla's lights back on?
Blackout. Scene 4, the next day, a simple office at the Chicago Tribune. At lights up, Nikola Tesla is sitting at a table. Across from him sits Henry, who is holding a stenographer's notepad.
Such a sound defeat of Mr. Edison at yesterday's Columbian exposition. I saw it with my own eyes, but you've hardly spoken about it. This Mr. Tesla is your chance to tell it to the Chicago Tribune and our legion of readers.
A scientist's job is to invent, not to promote. My work has spoken for itself.
It hasn't spoken until it's in print. What do you say, Mr. Tesla? Give me something for the front page.
The truth is...
Yes?
Let the future tell the truth.
That Mr. Tesla doesn't sell newspapers. I need something more. Perhaps let our readers know what else you're working on. What other inventions have you got up your sleeve?
I'm perfecting the use of electricity for the purging of microbes, insects, and rodents from the earth. I'm working on a model of electrical bulbs to bats to rid the body of dust and other small particles, and I'm developing a prototype that would adopt electric dust absorbers to sterilize air, food, and water.
Are you sure, Mr. Tesla, that this is something you wish for the Chicago Tribune to print? Wouldn't it make you seem, well, a bit strange?
You asked me what I was working on. I told you. If you're not interested, I have other things to do.
They say that some are already trying to steal your ideas for the alternating current.
I don't care that they steal my ideas. I care that they don't have any of their own.
Now that, I like.
Blackout curtain.
Good Advice by Matt von Hippel, Part 1. The narrator begins speaking.
This is a play about people. The playwright happens to know a fair number of people. However, any similarity to actual persons living, dead, or trapped in the undead realm of academia is entirely coincidental.
The scene begins with the lights down, and they remain down until the end of the scene.
So, you have been seeing him behind my back.
It's not like that.
It's exactly like that. Did you think I wouldn't find out?
I didn't think you would take it like this.
Well, what do you expect to happen now? Do you think he's going to accept you like this?
I wanted to stay with you.
Do you think that he can afford you? With the sort of money he brings in, you'd be out in the cold once the semester's over. What could you possibly see in him?
Do you want to know what I see in him? Really want to know? You can't even understand. Everything with you is 20 years out of date. When I talk to him, it's a new world. Everything is possible. I care again. You could never do that for me.
I will not have you talking like that about a topologist! Get out!
The lights go up as student 1 appears through an office door clutching a sheaf of papers.
Fine. I'll find a new advisor.
Lights down.
We examine the extent to which career mentoring and psychosocial mentoring received from their advisors relates to advisee perceptions of advisor-advisee relational uncertainty. These findings emphasize further the importance of advisors' provision of mentoring support for their advisees. Manson and Myers, 2013. Relational uncertainty is the degree of confidence people have in their perceptions of involvement within interpersonal relationships. Knobloch and Solomon, 1999.
Oh, sorry. Oh, hi.
Hello.
I'm pretty sure the program will be finished running tomorrow. I suppose, I mean, I figure I could prepare for the next stage, but...
Sounds good. I'm sure quite a few people will want to know the results once we're finished. Summer's almost over. What are you planning on doing during the year?
Well, I've got a few classes I need to take. Probably going to take up most of my time, really.
I see.
Oh, I mean, I'm definitely going to try to keep trying to finish the calculation. I might have less time than I've had recently, but I really want to see this through.
Great.
Though, if I have to TA, I might not have all that much time.
Well, do you have to TA?
It depends. Do you think you'll be able to pay me? I mean, I realize I've been completing this a bit slower than expected, but really the program was pretty sparsely commented. And
No, you've been doing well. It's just, I don't think I'll have the funding for a research assistant this semester. Maybe next semester. I'll send a few emails.
Thank you. Anyway, I should get back to work. No use hanging around here. Bye.
Student 2 backs out of the room, accidentally bumping into something as he leaves. End Good Advice, Part 1.
Searching for David by Bruce Futcher. Characters: she, a professor; he, a graduate student. Setting: Professor She's office. Desk, computer, blackboard, clutter. Heaps and heaps of books and papers. She is sitting at her desk working on the computer. Door opens. He enters, sits, slumps in chair, beaten.
It didn't work.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I did it. I put it on a gel and ran it and took it off, did a Western, developed it, but when I look at it, everything is pretty much the same.
I have no idea. None. Not the slightest clue what you were talking about. Please use some nouns other than it.
Okay. Okay, all right. I was doing the experiment to look at the effect of upstream AUGs on the initiation of translation. There were 4 pairs of genes where one gene in each pair had an upstream AUG and the other didn't. Each gene was expressing green fluorescent protein, which in this experiment I was assaying by Western. But when I look at it, each of the 4 pairs, the gene with the upstream AUG was expressing almost as much as the gene without the upstream AUG. Maybe the gene with the upstream AUG was expressing 2-fold less or so, but still a similar amount.
I see. That is weird. But did the controls work out?
Yes. This time I did all the controls. I have positive and negative controls for the expression and detection of GFP, and they all worked. When I have there's no GFP gene, my signal is 0.
Are you sure you have the right strains?
I guess. I took a sample of each strain from the actual tube used in the experiment. I amplified the region upstream of GFP, and I sequenced it. When I got the sequence back at the same time as I developed the Western. Every strain has the right sequence. I don't know what I screwed up.
What do you mean screwed up? What went wrong?
I don't know what went wrong. I've been doing this for months, and this time I think I finally did everything right, and I still got the wrong answer. For my experiment, it looks like upstream AUGs don't block translation.
There are no wrong answers. There are only bad experiments. If you really did do a good experiment and the answer is that upstream AUGs don't block translation, then that is the answer, a good answer, and you go with that.
But everyone knows that upstream AUGs do block translation. The reason for my experiment was to show that.
No, we are not in the business of picking an answer, then proving it is right. We are in the business of crafting good experiments, good enough to tell one possible answer from another. It is hard enough to design and do a good experiment that you should be proud of when you manage it, no matter what answer comes out.
Sure, in theory, that sounds great, but really, what can I do with this result? Probably I messed up somehow. And even if I didn't mess up, no one will believe this result. And even if the result is right, I don't know how it could happen or what it means. I don't learn anything.
And if you found that upstream AUGs do block translation, just like everyone already thinks, what new thing would you have learned?
Okay, I wouldn't have learned that much, I guess, but at least I know I didn't screw up. That's the main thing.
Your goal here is to know that you didn't screw up.
You know what I mean.
Yes. It's scary to get a surprising answer because most of the time it does mean you screwed up. But if you only accept unsurprising answers, you can never find out anything new. To find out new things, you have to have some confidence in yourself. Be a good craftsman.
But still, for this experiment, there's no way this could be the right answer.
Why not?
Because I can't think of any way for it to happen.
How hard have you tried to think of a way?
What?
How hard have you tried to think of a mechanism for translation to happen even in the presence of an upstream AUG?
I haven't tried. That would be nuts. If there were a way for this to happen, someone else would have thought of it, and it would be published.
No one else has your experiment or your result. They don't have a reason to think about it.
I have no idea about any such mechanism. I wouldn't know where to start.
Linus Pauling said the way to have a lot of good ideas is to have a tremendous number of bad ideas. That works for me.
What? You want me to have bad ideas?
Yes, at first. It is really hard to have a new creative idea, especially for a student. We spent, these many years, decades, elementary school, middle school, university, teaching you to think critically. And we succeeded. Now you're so critical, you're constipated. You can't squeeze out a creative idea for anything because you criticize it to death before you're even conscious of it. To have a creative idea, you have to turn off criticism. Think hard. Put everything into the mix. Have lots and lots of ideas, but without criticism. Then, after you have the ideas, turn criticism back on and throw out the stinkers. Maybe you'll be left with 1 or 2 good ones. Michelangelo said he carved by starting with a block of marble and taking away everything that wasn't David. It's like that. The heap of bad ideas is your block of marble. You need a big, big block of marble. Then bash away everything that isn't David.
I'm not sure I can do that.
Don't worry. I've seen you in action. I know for a fact you have a ton of really awful ideas.
Thanks. Glad to instill confidence. So you want me to go away, think about translation initiation and my results, and have a lot of random bad ideas about how this experiment could possibly give the result I got, and hope that one of those is right. Is that your plan?
Yes! Lay it on. At worst, you'll get some practice thinking.
This is not how it's done in the movies.
Well, of course not. What would the movie show? The center of science, the key thing we do when we do science, is something that happens inside our own brains, in our heads. We figure something out, something we've been puzzling about for a long, long time. We find that one idea that is probably right. A light goes on. Epiphany. Wow. At the best of the best, the hairs on your spine and head stand straight up and shiver. An orgasm of the scalp. And you're going to what? Explain that to someone? Sue the scientist looked into her test tube and the glop in it was green, so Sue was happy.
A movie doesn't explain, a movie shows.
Show how? The thing you want to show is happening in someone's head. I don't remember any Academy Award winners where the hero solves a crossword.
Yeah, okay. I'll go get in touch with my inner bad ideas. Are you going to give it some thought, too?
Yes, of course. When you said your result was that the upstream AUG didn't change translation much, I was very excited. I was excited for exactly the reason you were disappointed, that we have no explanation of how that could be. So, unless you screwed up, we have something really new here. That's what I want. The orgasm of the scalp. So you go to your place and have your bad ideas, and I'll stay here and have mine. And we'll see what we can figure out. Go!
He leaves through the office door and goes just outside to a desk and chair which just now become dimly illuminated. He sits and thinks. She sits and thinks. Illumination grows on he's desk as it dims on she's desk until illumination's equal on both. Lights out.
Good Advice Part 2 by Matt von Hippel. The lights go down, and when they go up, a doorway and desk are revealed, indicating an office. Student 3 pokes his head into the office, at which point Advisor 3 immediately picks up one of the papers strewn across his desk and pretends to be busy. Student 3 sees through this ruse and advances.
So, what's this I hear about presentation?
What? Oh, no presentation. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ah, okay, because Philip said you were going to have me present at next week's seminar.
Ah, that Philip. What a prankster.
He also said you didn't want me to know too early because you thought I'd worry too much about it.
Does that sound like me?
Yes.
You do tend to worry too much, you know. The presentation should be easy, and I'd rather you worked on that paper than wasted your time preparing.
You could have just told me that.
Then you'd have worried anyway, right?
Yeah, of course.
See? Besides, I'd have thought the whole jet algorithm situation would be much more interesting. Have you thought of any new applications?
Well, I've been thinking that really the basic principles should be more applicable in a much more general sense. And there's nothing special about the problem we used. I mean, nice try, still not distracted.
All right, what can I do to make it up to you?
You're buying the pizza for next group meeting.
All right, sounds fair.
With anchovies.
Seriously?
Now, you want me to do this talk or not?
All right, anchovies. Now get out of my office, you weird kid. I've got work to do.
Yeah, I'm sure.
In 2007, the median time to doctorate receipt was 6.4 years in physical sciences, 6.9 years in mathematics and biological sciences, 7.0 years in engineering, 8.9 years in social sciences, and 9.7 years in medical other life sciences. Science and Engineering Indicators, 2010. First marriages, which ended in divorce, lasted a median of 8 years. The median time from marriage to separation was shorter, about 7 years. Survey of income and program participation data on marriage and divorce, 2009.
The lights again go down. When they go up again, student 4 is sitting at a desk in an office, typing. An advisor 4 comes in through the doorway and enters student 4's peripheral vision. Student 4 twitches almost imperceptibly.
Have you put together those plots yet?
Yeah, I've got the first one. They're taking quite a while. I'm not sure how to set up the automatic.
No. This isn't what I was asking you for. You just need to do a simple... We'll talk about it later. I was just dropping in to talk to you about your classes next semester.
Yeah, I was thinking of taking...
There's a course on statistical modeling that you should take. It shouldn't take time away from your research.
Isn't that class offered at the same time as...
What have I told you about interrupting me? Look, I want to help you, but I can't do anything if you don't meet me halfway. Now, as I was saying, this course should give you some great marketable skills. It will really help you out if you choose to go into industry.
Industry?
See, I knew you'd like the idea. Now, I have to get going. Still need to finish a grant proposal. Why don't you fix up those plots, just include the information I asked for the first time, and we can talk about it later, about how to maybe help you work more efficiently. Yeah, all right, I'll talk to you later.
Recognizing that effective academic advising is at the core of student success, NACADA aspires to be the premier global association for the development and dissemination of innovative theory, research, and practice of academic advising in higher education. NACADA, the National Academic Advising Association. People are people. A truism, perhaps, but an important one. We keep learning the same lessons, repeating the same mistakes, finding the same solutions. The science of human behavior is the story of patterns, patterns that recur no matter which community you study, even if you study the scientists themselves.
My God, he's a topologist.
The end.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Understanding by Colin West. Bill and Alan sit in the waiting room of a small, early 1950s senatorial office. They are looking over a small, disorganized pile of papers spread across the coffee table.
Oh, God.
All right. We've only got a few minutes, so we have to make up our minds.
Oh, God.
No. Listen, we can do this. We just have to make a final decision about what argument to lead with.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, I still think we've got to go with the Lewis and Clark analogy. I mean, it's such a perfect fit. It's not even an analogy. It's like an isomorphism.
First of all, don't say isomorphism when we go in there. And secondly...
Well, okay, but it's one-to-one at least. And
don't say one-to-one.
And I mean, look, they were sent off to chart a vast unknown frontier, right? Well, what's outer space if not the final unknown frontier? It's the last great boundary condition.
Don't say boundary condition.
And when he says, but you can't tell me how we stand to turn a profit from outer space, we can say, did Lewis and Clark know how we were going to turn a profit from the Louisiana Purchase?
Alan.
I mean, his home state wouldn't exist if it weren't for people voyaging into the unknown with no other reason than that they didn't know what was out there. If that doesn't resonate with his values...
He doesn't have values. Alan, he has constituents and donors. And they all just want to know what's in it for them. Now, I say we keep pushing the idea of satellites that might be used to manipulate the weather. There's a lot of farmers out there. They need a healthy rainfall every year, right? We tell them, we send up the satellites, we study the clouds from up above, and we learn how to control them.
There's just no way to know if we'll be able to do something like that.
And there's no reason to think we won't. You said it yourself. Space is a vast unknown right now. We can promise whatever we please to make it sound like a good investment. We can promise him the moon. Alan, we can literally promise him the goddamn moon.
Mary, visibly pregnant, enters and pauses by the desk.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry for the wait. The senator is ready for you now.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Penny, isn't it? I can see why they say the old buck's wife has something to worry about. What with someone as pretty as you working in the office for him?
Well, actually,
Gentlemen, I see you have met my wife, Mary.
Oh, God.
Yes, and we were just commenting on how lovely she is, even with a baby on the way. Congratulations, sir. It's a truly magical experience, I'm sure.
Yes, well, that's easy for you to say. You're not the one stuck driving her to the doctors all the time with an election due to kick off any day now. Not to mention how I'm emptying my pocketbook to pay for this little bugger when I could be hiring staffers. Did you know they have special vitamins now that you have to buy for a woman when she's with child?
They're to keep the baby healthy, darling.
And there's another thing. Even with all the vitamins in the world, God forbid, what if we lose the child? Think how much time and money we'd have flushed away.
Darling, please don't speak like that. I told you we're going to have a wonderful, handsome little boy, and you can take him fishing and hunting, and one day you can even help him run for Congress.
If it even is a boy, you shouldn't make promises you can't keep, Mary. Now, be a doll and go and finish the filing, would you? I just have to have a word with these gentlemen.
Senator kisses Mary on the cheek loudly. Mary exits.
Fine woman I found, eh? But I just can't understand where this urge to have a child came from. We're married 7 years, and she wants for nothing. And then, one day, her sister announces she's going to have a baby boy, and I don't know what happens. Women, huh? I guess there's no understanding their urges. Am I right, Bill? You look like a married man, you know, and Alan, you, well... But what am I doing? Time is precious, and you boys had something more you wanted to say to me about this, what is it? spice program? Spice program?
Space program, Senator.
Well, yes, I remember you boys. You're the boys with their heads in the clouds, right? You know, I don't mind telling you, losing that contract hurt you badly. It was one thing when you told me we could build these little flying saucers out on the salt flats. But without that... but here's your chance. Win me over.
Senator,
What we're talking about is a chance to venture into the great unknown and reawaken the great American spirit of exploration. Our planet is a speck, a mere pale blue dot in the vast ocean of outer space, an ocean that's been inaccessible to us for millennia. Ours is the first generation with the technology to actually traverse this expanse, to probe the boundaries, to explore the context in which our entire species exists. It's exploration, sir. Nothing less than that.
Exploration, huh? Well, I guess we know a thing or two about that out here, but are you telling me that you could actually send people, human people up there?
Yes, maybe.
Probably not.
It's just, well, we don't want to mislead you, sir, but actual human exploration is a possibility at this point. But only once we can learn enough about the conditions up there. And that can't happen unless the Congress approves our proposal to establish a national program and to begin some studies.
So, this is all just about investigating the possibility of pre-planning?
Even Lewis and Clark had to do pre-planning. Senator, before they start out to chart the Louisiana Purchase.
And even Lewis and Clark had to tell the government how the people would benefit from their little expedition. In their case, they came back with land. They came back with maps of farmable, arable land where other men could go and till the earth, turn a profit. If I vote to fund this project, what will you two bring back to us, huh?
A phone rings.
Mary, dear, could you get that? I'll just be a moment. Now, I like you boys. I like your spirit, and I want to like your project. I know you think I'm just being cheap, but you have to understand, it isn't my money you're asking for. You're asking me to force millions of other Americans to pay for something you want to do. Now, and if I'm going to do that, you two have got to tell me what it is you're bringing home for them, all right?
It's for you, darling. It's urgent.
You'll have to excuse me a moment, but this doesn't mean you're off the hook. When I come back, I want an answer.
It's not pre-planning, Bill. Even the pre-planning is exploration. It's exploration with chalkboards instead of people. But it damn well counts as exploration of a great unknown.
I know that, but he won't see that, no matter how isomorphic it is to the days of Lewis and Clark. Look, I tried your analogy. It's a good analogy. I think it helped even. But now we've got to give him something tangible that he can think of as the payoff, the application.
And what the hell is that going to be, huh? A weather control system? A missile defense system? Oh, I know, a goddamn space map so that a bunch of his little space homesteaders can go raise a herd of space cows.
Oh, look, the weather system is still our best bet. I know it's hypothetical, but it's
not hypothetical, Bill. It's a lie. It's a goddamn lie.
Oh, well, it's a white lie. Look, didn't your parents ever tell you that you had to drink your milk because otherwise Santa Claus would think you were a bad boy? Well, there's no Santa Claus. Alan, your parents told you a goddamn lie, too. They did it because they knew it was important for you to drink your milk, and they knew you'd never understand until it was too late. Well, that's all we're doing here. If we're lying to him for his own good. Unless you got a better idea.
Okay, I may have something. What if we explain it like this?
Boys! My God, boys, you'll never guess. The Soviets have announced their own space program just this afternoon. I swear it sounds exactly like what you described to me, except, of course, we're going to do it better. You hear me? I'm going to see to it that you get double what you asked for. If it's good enough for the Soviets, it's good enough for Americans to do better and bigger and first. It's going to be glorious. Congratulations to both of you. I'm sorry I ever doubted you. And Mary, darling, listen, apparently they've done some polls, and the public just loves the pregnancy. The two of us are having a child at your age. It's going to do wonders in a campaign against a bachelor like my opponent. And do you know what? I bet that even if we lost the baby now, we'd come out ahead. Can you imagine that? The two of us coping with personal tragedy while bravely soldiering on with the election for the good of the people. Oh my God, they'd rally around us like never before. My God, it's brilliant.
Senator bends over and kisses Mary's belly.
You hear that, little fella? I take everything back I said about you. You are worth every penny and every doctor's visit and every goddamn jar of vitamin pills. Now then, they want us downstairs to take some new photographs, sort of play up the maternity aspect. But look, why don't you stay and celebrate? This is a big day for you two. There's some bourbon in the big drawer behind the desk there. We'll join you later, and you can tell us all about space things. It's going to be brilliant.
Senator grabs Mary's hand and pulls her out the door. Alan and Bill begin collecting the papers.
Well,
God damn it. God damn him and his Soviet space cow bullshit.
Alan, look, we have to...
No, it doesn't matter anymore because he doesn't understand. It's like he's not even human, Bill. It's not a contest. It's not a game. It's damn sure not a political weapon. It's space. It's the universe. It's every goddamn thing in existence. It's billions and billions of miles full of unanswered questions and mysteries. It's our calling as people. Science isn't something you do because someone told you a white lie or because you suddenly see a way to use it against your opponent. It's something you do because you have to, because it's human nature to want to know what it's like in the universe. And you don't ask how much it's going to cost. And you don't ask what's in it for me. And you don't get scared and quit because you're satisfied with life right now and you can't predict how things are going to change. You do it because it's one of the most goddamn fundamental of all human impulses to want to know what's next. You just do it. And it takes ages and it costs money. But one day, you bring something totally new to the world. Some fact that no one knew before. And you don't even care what you might gain from it. You just bask in the miracle of having found it out. I swear to God, Bill, how can you not understand this? Look at us. We've been at this for months, and we try to make him see what a glorious, wonderful day could be coming with the birth of the space age. He just doesn't understand.
I understand.
End of play.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Hope to see you again next year.
They were wild.
Good job. Thanks.
Now they're just routine.